All right.
Last night I gave a board presentation to the Sweetwater Union High School District's Board of Trustees at the regular meeting. I spoke to them about a concern of mine and a concern of a lot of different teachers and employees in the school district. I talked about the creation of a high school that we perceive is a vehicle by which the school district is managing to hide and otherwise move the test scores from a variety of the various high schools in our school district. I started my meeting out discussing the item as it was presented to the board back on July 27th, 2009. And in that board presentation, the analysis of this creation of this new independent study high school included things like program will be improved, the curriculum would be changed to fit the needs of these at-risk, high-risk students that were going to be moved into it. The program also includes a high proportion of English language learner students. It also includes a large number of special ed students. However, when the test scores came out on last week, on Monday, I was shocked to find out that our school had, or not our school, but the high schools in our school district had shown significant, very significant increases in their API scores. I wasn't shocked because I wasn't expecting it. I was actually quite pleased to see these huge numbers. But the numbers themselves seemed to be out of proportion with what the scores had been improving over the previous years, and certainly were much higher than those of the surrounding school districts. So we started looking. Now, I was well aware of the creation of this independent study high school, but it really wasn't until I started looking into the Department of Education, the CDE, reports for these test scores and things like the mobility that each of these schools, the district, and certainly this independent study high school, what their mobility factors were. And when we started to look closer at this, we began to realize that the creation of this independent study high school had caused an artificial bump in the API scores of all of our high schools. Now, I'm not going to say that all of our high schools had unbelievably high numbers, although some of them certainly had unbelievably high numbers. But I was incensed because I thought back that just a few days prior to the public release of these scores, our school district spent public funds to advertise these exceptionally high scores in the San Diego Union Tribune. And to me, when I started looking into the background of how these scores were achieved, I was incensed that our school district actually spent public funds to create an image that our schools had performed better than what I believe they actually had. I'm not trying to think that, I don't even believe that the teachers in our school district did anything wrong. In fact, I think they did a commendable job. I don't believe that the administrators did anything other than the best efforts they possibly could give. I believe our students gave it their 100% effort. But what we found is that the district has found a vehicle by which they can systematically remove a lot, and I'm talking in effect, we're looking at somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 test scores have been manipulated in such a way that they are either, one, not being reported on the state reports, or are being moved into a completely different school than what they should have or would have been had they not created this independent study high school. We're looking at a school that has an extremely high mobility, this independent study high school. And by having a high mobility, it has a process built right in place that will invalidate test scores. Because as anybody who has studied test scores and how they are created, we know that a student has to be enrolled in a school during the time of CalPADS on October the 7th. We also know that that student must be continuously enrolled all the way through the first day of testing. And this is the only way that student can create a valid score. He's present and enrolled on CalPADS, and he continues and is present and counted and actually takes the test during testing. Well, this independent study high school has a high turnover rate. We have students who are being enrolled into the program at the semester, after the end of the fall semester, and we have students in that program who are being returned back to their resident high schools during the semester. We have students moving back and forth constantly. We do have this high change during the semester, but we have it happening all year long. The problem is that the students who return to their home school will take the test, but they will not create a valid score. The students who enroll in the independent study high school at the semester will take the test, but they will create an invalid score. By my calculation, and believe me, I am no expert in this, by my simple just looking, I'm estimating that upwards of 800 students were systematically removed from Sweetwater Union High School District's test, the big picture, but the big picture at each school, 800 students were systematically removed. This does not count the 469 valid scores in the English portion of the CSTs that were created in Bounce Back. Now that means that we had at least 469 students who did take the English CSTs. Great, they got scores. Their scores were considerably lower, and these students fit the profile of all of these students, both the ones that came in after CalPads, both the group that left before CSTs, and the group that remained. We're talking about very low scores. This school, Independent Study High School, is an ASAM school, an alternative school accountability model. API, they don't have to worry about API. Their scores don't count. Their scores only apply to this one school. So all of our high schools that run learning centers, which is every high school in the school district, every comprehensive high school in this school district, got an artificial bump by not having to count the students who got caught in either this transfer between these two schools, their home school and this independent study high school, or the students that remained in independent study high school. When you take the fact that we're probably talking somewhere in the neighborhood of in excess of 1,200 students, and we have 12 learning center high school campuses, we're talking about an average of 100 scores per high school. I was told by people who know a lot more than this, about it than I do, that it would probably take between 25 to 35 students to make a significant change using the method that I just described. Well, if 25 to 35 would make a significant increase in school scores, how much do you think about 100 students might do on average per student? So we took our concerns to the school board, and we presented this at the school board meeting last night, and we're awaiting their decision as to how they plan to handle this.